So Florida will ban anyone under 14 owning a social media account from January 2025, deleting existing accounts. The bill was signed today. This was March 25th, so earlier this week, Monday, I think, by Governor Ron DeSantis. So Florida bill signed. So children's safety on social media has been a huge concern over the last few years, with states talking about requiring stronger age verification and parental controls. Welcome to Texas YouPorn. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is making it happen, having signed a bill on March 25th, 2024, that effectively bans kids 15 years old and younger from social media. If they don't, companies can be sued on the kids' behalf and may be liable for up to $10,000 in damages. So, $10,000 in damages for a social media company doesn't sound like a lot.
That's per kid, though.
Sure. This would be bad for your favorite social media site.
Well,
I don't know, whatever, Party Boys or whatever it's called.
Party Body, which does not exist anymore. It was a club for anyway. I'm not doing this again. But I think this is the same thing. I mean, this is the same thing as our first topic, really. We're banning something to prevent an action, which I think is kind of stupid because kids are still going to go on social media. All they got to do is lie about their age. And what is a social media company supposed to do in order? Because at 16, well, I guess in Florida, you probably get your license or permit at 16. So maybe they can force you to do some age verification by uploading an ID. But what are they supposed to do? I mean, truly, what are they supposed to do? And so I think it's stupid. And it's a way that they are just trying to, they're taking the parents need to be in. I mean, that's the parents' role, is to make sure your kid's not on social media before you want them to be on social media. If a parent wants their kid on social media at 13, then so be it. It's a bad parent, but so be it. It's not a bad parent. I mean, maybe it's not. I don't care. I was on social media at like 10. So
yeah, you were.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with Charles here. I mean, I think the first cool thing I have to address is, should kids be on social media? I don't think so. My kids won't be on social media because
so what age?
Till they can decide for themselves.
Fair.
I think the evidence is pretty crystal clear that it's not good for them. So unless there's something contrary to that, now the question is, does government say you can't do it? I'm obviously going to side on I'm obviously going to be more sympathetic to not using government force and, maybe parents choosing, but so I don't know about the Florida bill. I mean, I like the objective of it, which is to get kids off social media, which is linked to an increase in depression, anxiety, suicide, and all drug use probably too. So I think it's good. There's good motivation. I think that it's probably the wrong mechanism to accomplish it.
I'm going to backtrack a second on what I said, because I do think there is something contrary to it. And I think when you're looking at today, social media is such an important part of life that I can see why parents would allow younger kids to be on social media, and that doesn't make them bad parents, especially because you have a lot of kids today who are making a lot of money on social media simply for being entertaining and being young and whatever. And so I don't know. I feel like we talked about MySpace and stuff. You guys said you weren't on MySpace until what?
College.
Late high school, early college.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm split on it. I think either way. I think it's the parents' choice. I don't think government should be doing it, and I think the parents should be making that decision.
Yeah, I think generally it should be the parents' decision for sure. Why is the government stepping in? But of course, the social media, I think it's often called the town square, where public discourse happens. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
sure.
if it's the town square, if it's where the public goes to air their grievances, and therefore people should have First Amendment rights to it, even though it's a private company that owns it, should the government step in and say, only, here's some regulations that need to take place?
I don't know. I mean, I can't see why, if you want to make a parent accountable for it, like if your kid goes on and something happens that you're liable for it, That's one thing. Like they're starting to do with guns and saying that if your kid takes your gun, like I think it was the Michigan case where the kid took the parent's gun, went to school. They knew this kid had issues, and now the mom's in jail because he shot up the school. I can understand holding parents liable, but for a company to create a platform and then be forced to not just police by having some sort of simple age verification when you sign up, but going the extra mile to ensure that someone under the age of 18 is not on, or 14, 15, whatever, is not on their platform, you're putting a heavy burden on a company, a very heavy burden on a company, because kids lie all the time.
Michael?
Yeah, I think it's bad for kids to be on social media. I just don't think having government mandated or prohibited is the right solution. I think as kids, as we know, we were all kids once. When we're told we can't do something, we want to do it more. It's not going to change the instinct. So how do you address the instinct to get on social media? Well, you blast that freaking chart of the increase of anxiety and depression in kids and suicide and the onset of social media to every parent in America. Like that, they need to see that chart and then they'll make better decisions. But CNN, MSNBC, the news media doesn't cover it. So I think it's starting to trickle out there. I think there's been a significant shift in how parents view cell phones and social media in recent years. And I think we'll get there. It would be awesome if our leaders would help with that by giving people good information. They are not, because they're in a lot of cases bought and paid for by said social media companies and said technology companies. But I think the better answer is education and good information, not prohibition.
So, Charles, you say that maybe punishing the parents for letting on there would be a more, I don't know, fair use of government power. Is that accurate?
I don't know that it would be fair, but fairer.
Yes, more fair. Yeah, I'm not saying that it is fair, just more fair.
Right. Yeah.
What would the punishment be? $10,000?
No, I don't. I honestly don't know what an acceptable.
You lose your EBT.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, something simple like $1,000, like a ticket, like a traffic ticket kind of thing. Maybe $1,000, $500 fine. Something that's enough to deter you, but not make you go like bankrupt. But yeah,
what do you do about the poor parents?
I mean, I don't think we should do this anyway. I mean, like, I don't really think we should be doing this anyway. But I'm saying if we have to pick between one of the two, I think it should be on the parents rather than on the company. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The same thing that we do now, if you don't have money to pay a traffic violation, I guess they put you on like a payment plan or something.
Now, on Instagram, it's very well known, I think, that there's a lot of child trafficking going on. And on Twitter, you can easily access pornography. Every time I search for just a random, I don't know, just somewhat seemingly benign term, I could search the word Austin because I'm looking for something going on in Austin. And I can almost guarantee you that the first thing that pops up will be some huge penis. And it's really disturbing, but it is what it is. I'm an adult. I can handle it.
That's called the algorithm.
No, it's not.
What I will say in your defense, Brad, and this is the only time I'll ever defend you, is that when you see these really viral tweets, every time you click, like, and it could be about anything, you click it, and for whatever reason, they always like post, like somebody will come in, they'll be like, you know, they'll say crazy things and post crazy stuff under it because they know it's viral, and you just can't get away from it at this point. I don't know why that is allowed to happen. The
Baltimore Bridge isn't, I'm sure if you search Baltimore Bridge right now, there'd be a lot of, random bot accounts posting OnlyFans pictures all over it. Now, I don't know if Michael's going to make the same slander against you that it's the algorithm.
Well, no, it's not the out, because when you click it, it's in the comments. But
listen, bud, it's not the algorithm. Someone says true. Yeah, it is true. It's crazy. So given that, right, is their responsibility, the government prohibits the sale of Playboy magazines and other pornography to people under 18 years old because all that stuff exists, including child sex trafficking. Do they have the responsibility to also protect kids from that? Not that they're protecting kids from child sex trafficking. If that's happening, if they allow 15-year-olds on it, that's still a child. But I think you get the point.
I mean, I think in that similar vein, I would ask the attorney general who just pushed for, well, not a ban, but age verification for Pornhub. Why would you not apply that same standard to Twitter, where you can't get away from seeing that stuff, even if you're young? So at that same point, if they're going to apply that standard to Pornhub, then they should be applying it to Twitter too. Because Facebook and Instagram don't necessarily allow, I don't think at all they allow that, but Twitter seems to. So,
you can definitely, I mean, Instagram, yeah, it's there. You can find it. It's not as hardcore as you can find on Twitter, but it's there. Michael sends me stuff all the time. It's weird. Michael?
Oh, I don't think I have anything new to add. I get the instinct to use government force to stop things we don't like. It doesn't work long term, and then it creates all sorts of perverse incentives. Yeah, there are contradictions all over the place, but I think that DeSantis is, being DeSantis, and he's placating to a very specific constituency, and I get it from a political lens. I don't think it's going to work. I think it would be better to just provide people good information.
I mean, I think none of this really, we can talk about it, and I think it's worth talking about, but none of this is going to change. We're still going to have government doing all this stuff so long as the government is taking care of people and trying to take care of everything for everybody. And the more that happens, the more the government's going to step in and say, you can and cannot do this, right? But I think that as far as our elected heroes go, there doesn't seem to be a lot of appetite to try to change that in any sort of meaningful way.
Say elected heroes.
Yeah, our elected heroes. They're here to save us. You didn't know?
No.
Yeah,
But
there's certainly not a lot of interest in pursuing fixes to the broader problem of use of government. But I struggle with, as a person that considers themselves on the right, I struggle with the morality policing of the Republicans who are technically opposed to government force, but when it's their morality that they want to impose, whether they're right or wrong, they will not stop at using government force to achieve those moral goals. And I think it's wrong. I think they're wrong. I think you persuade people. It's the same argument as the censorship argument. Like, you don't censor people, you persuade them.
I'm with you.
Is there a problem in your view, Michael, of large voices with lots of power and money behind them that are combating that good message?
Of course.
How do we solve that?
I don't know.
I don't know. That's up to the people who want to regulate to find out.
Oh, now we're for regulations. God, guys.
I'm not for it. I'm saying if they want to regulate.